uppercut, sonic boom! Well, hello there, humans of his earthlings, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and whoever you're lucky enough indeed to be doing it too. Welcome back to Channel. I'm Bushkin. Today we're going to talk about the biggest problem facing Pubg Mobile, and why it's specifically so centered around the FPP scene and why that is just really sad. And I want to talk about that with some footage. I'm going to show you some footage, and I'm going to show you a couple of different bits of gameplay. And we're going to talk about lots of different stuff. Stick around. Now, the biggest problem I think facing particularly FPP queues and facing the game as a whole is holding on to its player base and trust. That sounds like two different things, but they're the same thing. One of the problems I have with the game is obviously hacking and people cheating in the game, and that just doesn't extend to people who can see through grass and buildings and things like this guy. It extends to the guys who do team ups in solos and duos in the FPP mode of the gameplay as well. Now, how can you spot a hacker? Well, it's quite difficult at times, but what you want to do is look for guys that have their crosshairs like this, who are tracking people through targets. You can see there's someone running from left of screen to right of screen. He's tracking that person as they move. Look at it. I mean, it's so deliberate, so obvious, and then he'll suddenly stop and, oh, look, I better take this seriously. This is how your average hacker plays. We're not talking about the guys who jump over buildings in Pachinki. I've got videos up of people doing that. They've been banned long ago. They're the guys that come out at the start of every season and they run all the hacks on multiple different accounts so they can see who gets picked up and who doesn't get picked up, and then they can sell them to idiots like this guy who is just bad. Look at him. Again, he's tracking someone. Oh, hang on. I've seen something over there. There's someone in those compounds. That's great. I looked at them through the hill. Now there is a guy at my 95. Watch as this guy moves slightly down the hill. He's not sure which hill he's behind, but he knows he's over there just to the left of that tree. Now, this is how you can spot these guys. It's very, very simple. But a lot of people aren't this obvious. A lot of people will not look at the target. They'll leave it on the kind of the edge of the screen until they can do something plausible that will bring it into view. And this is the thing. I mean, this guy's obvious, but there's a whole gunfight going on down in that compound, but there's also a guy in that cube there that you can't see, and he's not firing. He's just hiding in the cube, right? And this guy is just going to obviously check it out. I am suspicious of this. This is suspicious behavior for me. And the worst thing about this, the reason that it really sucks and is such a huge issue for Pubg Mobile, is it erodes my trust that the game is not rigged in favor of other people. And that means that I won't spend money on the game, I won't play the game, and I will just end up going somewhere else. Now, for me, there is an intrinsic value in playing the game. I enjoy it, that's sure, but also, I mean, I do this for a living. I do videos for a living. Look at this. I mean, look at this guy. What is happening here is he doesn't have the hack set up correctly. So as this guy drops out of, it just goes to the nearest target that's visible, which happens to be 200 meters away on the other side of that house. You can see the gun markers coming up over there on the left, and it just keeps tracking to that target. This guy's an idiot, basically. He's really bad at it. He's set up so poorly that this is obviously not going to work. Now, the reason this is such a problem is that this is the FPP queue. Why is there more hacking in the FPP queue than the TPP queue? Well, on a holistic kind of idea, it might not be more in terms of volume, but percentage-wise, it's absolutely true that I see way more hackers playing FPP than I do playing TPP. And the reason for this is fairly obvious. TPP, it is very easy to set up to see someone, okay? You are behind a wall, you can see around that wall. The advantage in being able to see where a target is far less than it is in TPP, where this guy knows there's someone over there. Look at him. East 105. His crosshair is literally pointing at the guy the entire time he is running up the hill until he can see him. Like, get wrecked. This guy's an idiot. Like, he's obvious. But in FPP, that's a huge advantage, and he's so bad that even with the hacks, he still gets beaten. Like, I mean, God. And is he in bronze now? Is he banned? He is. Yeah, he's banned. He was originally crowned something or whatever, and he had an account that had been going since season 5 or 6, but now he's banned for 10 years. And why don't I have a ban pan? I report these guys all the time. I have plug-in reported 3 of 3. I still have not received an email saying, yes, successful banning. Like I've reported guys that jump over houses and kill people through walls at 1,000 meters. Like it doesn't matter, whatever. Then we get to this part, the FPPQ. So one, it is far more advantageous to be hacking in an FPP game than it is in a TPP game because you can just strafe out. Two, I saw some dudes crash his compound in a UAZ and they're in a FPP solo game. Like, the reason teaming up is such a problem, on top of the hacking, and I mean, did you see that? So I'm going into a compound where there are 2 guys camping, sweating it up. Then another 2 guys go past in the UAZ. This is a solo FPPQ on Asia. I threw a Gren into that barn just before when I rolled in. You saw me throw a Gren. No one moved in there. There are 2 guys in there. Neither of them are going to move. Not an inch, not a square centimetre. They are sweating this up so hard that they will not move. And this is common in the FPP solo queue. Even when I push in and they'd have a clear shot, there's a guy in the doorway over there. He does not move. Watch this. There he is. He's still sitting there. I threw a Gren upstairs. There is a guy in the far corner of this. He will not move. So the FPP queue is small. Solo FPPs and duo FPPs are the smallest queues in the entire game. So you can easily manipulate that to have 2 guys. Oh, hello. There he is. Neither of them moved that entire time. Not one step, not one single step popped on my mini-map to indicate a movement. And then you get idiots like this guy, Mad Gianni, who I reported, who I did a video on YouTube showcasing what I thought was both hacking and teaming up, and he is still in the game at Crown 1 playing solo FPPQs. Now, Ocho said in his video with Riggsy that if there's 2 people sharing a ride to the zone, that's not teaming up. And I've had that happen to me before. How can I kick a guy out of a car if he gets in? Like, I can't. And he can't jump out when I'm doing 120 or he's dead. I understand that, but that's not what this is. This is the video I did with Madjani and his mate Hyder Deep, and they're teaming up and they're clearing the solo queue on FPP because it's easy to really rig that and do that. And people get so angry at PUBG Mobile and they stop playing the game because of things like this. It's super frustrating, and but let's be honest, the problem is, like, how do you fix this? How do you legislate for people just being completely hopeless at the game and being so sweaty and desperate for rating that they will team up against other players? And it leads to a situation where something like this immediately sparks. See, for me, this is the indicator. Listen, I'll explain this to you. This is the real root of the problem. This guy who hacked me, this is how I knew in my heart that it was most likely he was a hacker, because all the shots are in my head, you know? And it's 120 meters away through fog with an M416 and all his shots hit my head. But I've done that to people. And this is the trust factor that's being eroded by these wankers. I have done just that to people and it has been legitimate. And yet they've probably reported me as being a hacker and they probably feel frustrated and angry at the game like I do because the challenge is not fair and equitable. And that's unfortunate because this game is a fantastic game. It is just such a complex and nuanced game for a mobile game, and I feel privileged to be able to play games like this in my lifetime compared to when I was growing up, because this is the kind of game you dreamed of, like massively scaled multiplayer games where the gun handling is important and there's different statistics and characteristics that mean you've got to figure out which weapon works best for your particular mode of gameplay and your play style and the map and everything. And yet I wish I had answers for PUBG Mobile, but the only real thing is keep reporting these absolute grubs who are ruining the play style of me and so many others. The sweaty team ups, the hackers, just, you know what I'd pay money for? I would pay money for a server that was absolutely certain hack free. I'd give you $30-40 a month if I knew that I could log into a server and it would be fair, equitable, and everyone would be running the same client. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are enjoying the channel still. Look after yourselves. Please follow. Please subscribe. Please share the videos. And as always, stay safe on the battlefield. Be nice to your mum and dad. They're good people too.